button. Ha! All these signs around my screen are finally starting to take an effect on my brain cell, and I'm not forgetting so often to hit that record button. So anyway, hey, good morning, kids. We are live on the Kong Family Show, and we are here with Coach Sharon Minard. She's coming in with us on her monthly visit to the show. And one of the reasons I brought Coach in, and you know, she's so gracious to give her time to us. But I wanted to start every month off with a bang. You know, every month, at the beginning of every month, we started off with a boom by having Coach Minard in the house. We got great stuff coming in hot. So anyway, hey, Coach, I wanted to show everybody something, and I'm really excited about this. I've got your book.
Awesome.
I've got your program. I got to be honest with you. I haven't had in such a whirlwind since I got back from San Diego, and I just got it when I got home from San Diego. It was sitting on my doorstep. I'm like, yeah, there's the book. That's what I've been waiting for. And so anyway,
Awesome.
Yeah, train your brain for success, kids. This is the lovely Coach Minard. This is her book that I picked it up. I was like, I need this. I need something like this. And kids, we all need something like this. And that's what we're trying to do here in the Kong family is bring this kind of value to the show, to our guests, that people can utilize to be able to change their life for the better, because we are the Kong family, right? And we have this really simple goal. We just want to change the world. And we're doing that. We're doing that. How is that we're doing that again, Sean?
One glass of extremely hydrogen-rich, extraordinarily oxygen-saturated, supremely hydrating Kangen 9.5 at a time. Thank you kindly.
Amen. And one lightning bolt in a box, one incredible guest, one amazing family, one brain shift at a time. Because one of the things I've learned since I got involved with the Kangen Water family that has been so impactful on my life is I started to understand the brain. And I come to the basic understanding from the help of the incredible people that I've met being part of the Kong family, is that the biggest obstacle that people face in this world is the 6 inches in between their ears. And, you know, so when we come here on this show, we're trying to add all kinds of value. We're trying to add value in every single way possible that we can think of that's going to improve people's lives. And because we really believe that we want to change the world, and the only way to do that is to start with our own world first. And your own world starts right here. This is where it starts. This is what I've learned over the last year that, you know, I've been involved with the Kong family for 2.5 years, but it took about 1.5 years before I actually started really paying attention and, and got introduced to awesome people. So anyway, Coach, thank you so much for coming in here to start the month off with a boom. Kong's loving it.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's awesome to be on here again. And, you know, we were talking a minute ago how at the conference I got to see Sean, which was awesome. And I felt like this tall next to him. I didn't realize how tall he was. I'm only 5'2", so I think you got like 1.5 feet on me, Sean.
Right, no, and that's the beautiful thing. All I know is it's really easy not to make an ugly. Oh, let Eddie in here. And I'm like, it's okay. It's actually me, Sean Lester, one of the smallest sweater year round. And she was very gracious and didn't get me in the middle. You didn't know it. And she was really strong and her pound stood and so blessed.
Well, it was awesome to see you, and I'm sorry I wanted to get a picture of both of you. I missed my chance. Next time, there'll be next time.
I know. Next time, yeah.
So, JJ, we talked about, well, I did a post yesterday on excuses. And so you had mentioned maybe talking a little bit about that today. Do you want to move in that direction?
Yes, I love that idea because,
Okay.
exactly that, because one of the things that I'm quite sure that is going to be in this little doozy right here is probably going to have a little to do with what you were talking about in that post and that live that you did with excuses. Everybody knows what they say about excuses, and the truth of the matter is that I prefer to stay away from excuses. Because ultimately it's my fault. Whatever happens to me in my life, ultimately it's my fault. At least that's how I look at it. And I know a lot of other people in this world, they want to, anything that happens, they've got to go out and find someone else to blame. And so, yes, Coach, I would love to hear your take on that and share that out with the family, and help everybody understand that they
Awesome.
don't necessarily need to be making excuses except when they look in the mirror. So,
Right.
yeah, I'm really excited to hear what you have to say about this. Huh?
Awesome. I think somebody's got, maybe somebody needs to go on mute. There's a lot of background noise, so it's hard to hear. Okay.
Yeah, let's.
Okay, I think, yeah, maybe it was, okay, I think we got it now.
Well, Lex,
so
Lex is always making noises in the background.
Yeah, but there was a very huge echo. Now it's gone. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're good now. So just to give a little bit of background about me, my background, I actually was director of career services years ago in a university. I became a mom, loved being home with my kids, but I really lost kind of who I was. I lost my vision. I kind of settled for the thought that maybe I'm not called to do something great with my life. Maybe I'm just supposed to be a mom and a wife. And you know what? Being a mom and a wife is an incredible calling, but that doesn't have to be the limit. That doesn't have to be the end. That can be part of the story. And I was very drawn to go back to school. I got my master's degree in life coaching. I went back to school in 2014 and graduated in 2016. And all you do is write research papers. You research, you write research papers. So I'm so intrigued with the brain and how the brain works. So that was my main focus. Anytime I could research and write a paper on the brain, that's what I wanted to do. And what I am obsessed with knowing what makes people tick. I have to understand people. Like if you're around me, I will send you a personality assessment and tell me what's your 4-letter type so that I can better understand you. And that's my first exercise in my book. Because if I can understand you better, then I can know how to talk to you better and how to relate to you better. And I encourage spouses to take the test so that they can better understand each other. That's really important. And so I was just researching, and I was learning so much. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is really powerful information. And to begin to shift how I thought, just using some of these exercises, and it basically evolved into the book. What came to me was a 30-day brain boot camp, like basically 30 lessons and exercises to help rewire the brain, because our brain wires the way we think. And so what we think about, we bring about. So when we begin to sit back and look at our life, we have to realize it's our thinking patterns that's put us where we are right now. And if we want to shift and we want to change, we want to go up to that next level, then we have to begin to shift how we think. And it's an ongoing process because we never arrive, right? We're always growing, we're always changing, we're always evolving into more of who we're ultimately supposed to be. I mean, people say their higher self or whatever. I mean, to me, it's walking in your God-given potential. And so, even like the other day, I had some excuse about something of why I couldn't do something. And I was like, okay, I recognize right there that that's an excuse, that's a limiting belief, and I need to cut it out. But this is what 99% of the population does. They make some sort of excuse. And for me, for all those years was, I'm not good enough. I don't have what it takes. I'm just a mom. I'm just a wife. I'm just a girl. Like, I'm an introvert. I'm not an extroverted personality. I don't have the right personality, to go out and, do all this stuff, this, to be a leader, to make an impact, all of this, to, change people's lives or whatever. And we can always have an excuse. And the thing is that the brain does not like change. So the subconscious mind is that primitive brain. It's that animal type brain that is there to keep you alive and breathing. If you are alive and breathing right now as you are, it doesn't want things to change. So it doesn't want you to mess up the status quo. So we start to step out and we'll get some sort of resistance, some sort of excuse, something that will be like, don't do this. Go back to where you were because you're comfortable right here. You're safe right here. And that's how the brain is designed to work. So I'm going to talk about a few techniques to kind of overcome that. But that's where we get our excuses. That's why we take a step forward and we take 2 steps back, and we seem to go in circles, and we seem to go in these repeating cycles. And like my husband and I, like, we've gone through financial cycles. We've lost our home. Like, we've gone through these same cycles over and over. And it's like, oh my gosh, why are we in these cycles? But that's a loop that we got our brains in, and that's what we got stuck in. And, whether it's financial, whether it's relationships, attracting the same non-quality people, I'll have people come to me like, why do I keep attracting like these same crappy people into my life? And I'm like, because that's what you're perpetuating. That's the thinking pattern you're perpetuating. So that's what you're going to attract. So until you get out of that loop, are you going to be able to attract better? Until you get out of that financial loop that you're in, are you going to be able to attract better? Until you get out of that health, the same thing with health. Like, what the excuses that we make to ourselves. And like I talked on that last call, like, one for me was, my whole life I struggled with my weight. And, it's so hard to lose weight. It's so hard to get in shape. And I'm like, that's an excuse right there. 1, that's excuse. 2, what do I want? I want it to be easy. And so even at the conference, Matthew Jung, I believe his name is, he got up on stage. I think I'm saying his name right. He's only been in our business 2 years, and he's already making millions of dollars. And he said before he got into the business, like, he had built this digital system and stuff. And he's like, it's so hard. It's so hard. It's so hard. And his boss, his mentor said, if you keep saying it's hard, how do you expect to go anywhere? And he said, I changed my mindset to it's so easy. And he said, I changed nothing in my digital program, nothing whatsoever. And overnight, it became like a sensation. Why? Because 80% is up here. So if we can conquer, like you say, what's up here between the ears, that's 80% of the game right there. 20%, yes, is having knowledge on what you're doing, sales skills, business skills, training on product, all that good stuff. But 80% is up here because, like, Henry Ford says, whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. And we are our biggest enemy. We are our biggest block is our own thinking. And number 1, it starts with recognizing our thinking. And that's the biggest step right there, is just to start listening to ourselves, because we have to understand we have these autopilot programs, thinking patterns through the subconscious mind that go through our brains all the time that we are not even consciously aware of. What we say about ourselves, our relationships, our finances, our life in general. And they just play and play and play and play. So the number 1 thing is to begin to recognize what's playing in my head. What are these negative thinking patterns, these limiting beliefs, these excuses that I'm making? Like for me the other day, like I could have just let that gone on, some excuse about why I couldn't do something, but I had to stop and go, wait a second, that's a pretty lame excuse. Either I'm going to buy into the excuse and hold myself back, or I'm going to say, nope, I'm not going to let that hinder me and limit me. I'm going to find a way around this. And that's what the highly successful do, is they are always looking for the solution. Where 99% of the population looks at the problem. They're problem focused. They're excuse focused. Why they can't. All the reasons, and they justify themselves. why I can't do this, because of that, because of my spouse, because of the economy, because of my boss, because of, you know, my heredity, because of blah, 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 blah. Well, are those excuses going to move your life forward? No. The highly successful, they look at what is the solution? What do I need to do to step out? And, you know, it's not that you have all the answers, but you have one step forward. All right, I'm going to shift to take one step. What's one thing that I can do to move myself forward? And often it's just changing up here that I can do this, that I'm going to figure out a way. And I love the analogy of, I think it's Harv T. Eker, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, which is a fantastic book. But he talks about how, like, the highly successful, their thinking is like up here, whereas the average person's thinking is way down here. So if you have the average person, they're at, say, like a level 2, and let's say the problem's a level 5. Well, they are completely overwhelmed and devastated by this level 5 problem, and they just shut down. I can't do it. It's too much. I'm totally overwhelmed. I'm a failure. I give up. The highly successful is seeing, like, from level 8, level 9. Is that level 5 problem overwhelming? No. Because they're seeing from up here. They're seeing from a solution focus. I'm going to hit this. I'm going to take care of this. I'm going to find the solution. I'm going to find the people that are going to help me. And so it's us shifting ourselves to get up to those higher levels, to see the big picture. Like in my book, I talk about the eagle perspective versus the worm perspective. The highly successful have an eagle perspective. You think about an airplane, your view from the airplane. You see so much. You see the vast abundance. It's just like endless. You see as far as the eye can see from the airplane. We think about a little worm's perspective, like he's in the dirt. He sees dirt. He sees more dirt. That tree seems huge. Everything seems huge and overwhelming. And you're in the dark and you're confused. And it's like, okay, let's rise up and begin to take on that eagle perspective, that abundance perspective. Begin to see, okay, I got a problem. That's okay. I'm going to figure out the solution to it. And so, you know, it's beginning to see ourselves at that higher level. And, you know, again, the subconscious mind, it doesn't like change. So it tries to fight us. And so we start to move forward, you know, oh, our business is moving forward, our income is moving forward. And then, oh, we have this setback and we're right back to where we were before. It's like, oh, what's happening? What's going on? You know, you get so frustrated. Well, that's the subconscious mind trying to pull us back because it feels safe and protected in this little particular space. So a powerful way to shift the subconscious mind is through visualization, because the brain doesn't know what is real from what is imagined. When you are watching a movie, let's say a high intense movie, I don't know if you went and saw like a Marvel movie or a thriller movie or, you know, high car chase or whatever, and like they're hunting down the person, like your heart starts beating. Like you feel the stress and the anxiety in your body. Why? Because your brain at that time is in the movie. You're not seeing, like when you're really watching a movie, you're not aware of the surroundings or anything. I mean, you are in the movie. Your brain has tuned out everything. And your brain thinks you're in the movie. And you are responding with those emotions and those physical responses as if you were in the movie. So they found back in the 1980s and working with Olympians that if they had the Olympians go out and actually train, they measured the muscles firing. And then they had them sit in a room and imagine themselves training. And the muscles fired just as if they were physically performing. Because the brain doesn't know what's real from what's imagined. So visualization is powerful when we can go in and just close our eyes and imagine our life where we want to be. Imagine our life business-wise, health-wise, financially-wise, relationship-wise. Just picture our perfect life. And the emotion is really important because we want to show that it's safe. So we want to be happy when we're making these visualizations, okay? So the brain doesn't know what's real from what's imagined, but we want to show it that this is a safe place to move toward. So most people, they do visualizations, they're not really believing it. And they're almost scared of it. Well, you're just programming in your mind to be scared of these future beliefs. I can't handle that. That's too much. That couldn't really happen. So you've got to really work on getting yourself to a place of just being in a really relaxed state. Maybe it's first thing in the morning. Maybe it's right before you go to bed. And just visualize yourself. Maybe it's on stage getting an award. So visualize myself on stage getting an award. And I feel the joy and the happiness and the gratitude of now being in this place of achieving this accomplishment. Maybe it's being in my dream house. I want a house on the ocean. That's my dream house. And so, you know, it's visualizing myself in my home with all that I need, all the money, everything that I want to do, all that I want to give. And finding that place of peace and happiness and joy and gratitude, then the brain begins to see this is a safe place to move toward. And the brain will think that you already have it. The more that you do it, because when the first few times you do it, your brain's like, I don't buy this. Like, this is too far-fetched. But as you continue to do it, the brain will become familiar with it. That's why vision boards are so powerful, because the brain's very visual. So, you know, whether you're doing visualization in the mind or whether you're looking at, I mean, on my vision board, I've already accomplished about half of it. Like, even in the past year, I looked at it the other day and I was like, holy cow, like, that's pretty awesome. Yeah. But the subconscious mind is very visually oriented. So that's why, you know, I have pictures around my house. I have scriptures around my house. I have affirmations that come up on my phone. Hold on just a second. I'm gonna grab something. I'll be right back.
Dynamite.
Yes, amen.
So I have this rock. It's called my hope rock. It actually has hope written on it. And so to me, so I keep this in my kitchen and I'll touch it. And this again, so this is from the ocean and somebody painted on here. So this represents, I mean, a house on the ocean here is $2 million. And we know that we want to give, like, that's our priority. So we know financially where we need to be before we'd ever even consider buying a home. But this is my hope rock. Like, I feel this rock. I feel my home. I feel the joy of living in this amazing life of what I really want. So use objects, use things, feel them, touch them. Like Jim Carrey wrote himself a check for like $10 million when he was living in his car. And he touched the check, he'd feel the check, he'd imagine what it's like making all that money. And within no time, he'd got a contract for a movie for $10 million. So visualization, using objects, these are powerful reminders. So I'm gonna stop talking. You guys got questions?
I actually love everything you're talking about, and it's the kind of thing I've been kind of learning about the last year. And I learned a lot about this kind of stuff from Thomas Warden in the morning motivation meetings.
I love Thomas.
Every morning. And, you know, getting that mindset first thing in the morning seems to really help. I know that I don't get as angry about things as I used to get. You know, a year ago, I would, like I have a story about when my sweetie, she saw the video, the 9.5 video where they've got the little faucet and they've got Kong hooked up to its own little faucet.
Okay.
Instead of using the diverter hooked up to your sink. And she saw that and she immediately went to the store and bought one of those faucets and bought all the connections, bought all the stuff to put it in. And then she comes downstairs into the office here and she says, "Sweetie, guess what? I bought us an early anniversary present." And I said, "Oh, great. What is it?" And she says, "Here." And she hands it to me and I open it up and it's a faucet And I go, oh, great, plumbing work, just what I want to do. You know, I love plumbing, you know. But during the process of installing that thing, having to crawl underneath my sink and drill holes and do everything that needed to be done to make this happen, this little nut that I needed to get up in there, and I'm in this really cramped spot and trying to get up in there with one hand, and this nut falls down over my shoulder, and I'm thinking, no big deal. And so I have to slither my way out of the thing, and I start looking around for the nut. Where'd it go? Well, there was this little tiny hole, just barely big enough for a nut to fit in it. And sure enough, that nut went into that hole, down underneath the countertop and down underneath the cabinet. And I'm just like, you know, a year ago, I probably would have exploded. Ah, I can't believe that happened. Oh, yeah. What I did now is I started laughing because it wasn't a problem. There, you know, like I've got this mindset now that I've learned a long time ago, but I really instituted a lot now, and that is there are no problems, there are only solutions. Right. So instead of getting all irritated about the fact that that little nut by Murphy's Law went into that little teeny tiny hole, I just started laughing about it, and then we're like, okay, what are we going to do to solve this issue? And we teamed up on it, and we used these little fishing things and got down in there, managed to fish that nut out of there and get the thing done, you know. And now Kong's got his own spring. He's got his own waterfall to drink from, and it's awesome. We absolutely love it. By the way, to everybody, I highly recommend, and my sweetie, she especially recommends, that you get Kong his own spring instead of having that diverter and having to not be able to use your sink at the same time as you're using Kong. It's so sweet. But anyway, that was all about mindset, Coach, you know, and that's why I mention it, because a year ago, I had such a different mindset than the one I have now. And you know, I'm so looking forward. I'm going to show everybody this again, just in case they haven't seen it yet. I'm going to be learning from this and working through this. And I want to, you know, when we get together each month to have you on, I want to talk about this and how it's working for me and what I'm using, you know, what I'm being able to accomplish and how I'm being able to put it to work. Because we can think about stuff all we want, but ultimately we have to put the work in as well towards whatever it is we want, correct?
Oh, absolutely. Well, you know, and beginning with all of this, you know, it's so easy to just, you know, you're visualizing, you're positive thinking, you know, all this stuff. But if you don't actually take action, then nothing's going to happen. But here's the deal. If you truly use visualization, if you begin to use vision boards and you begin to shift the brain to believe that this is something you can truly have, you will naturally begin to step out and take action toward it. You will also open yourself up to allow it to come into your life. And I think a big problem with most people is deep down, they don't truly believe it. So they have like this wall that hinders these good opportunities from coming to them. But more really what it is they cannot see the opportunities because they've shut themselves out of it. So they could have this amazing opportunity right in front of them, and they literally can't see it. You know, you think about how many people, even talking to them about the water, you know, this water could completely transform their health, transform their finances, and they can't see it because they're looking here, they're looking there, you know, where others, they see it and they're like, oh, you know what I'm talking about. Whether they're open, where they are in life is gonna depend on how they respond as well. And we have to understand it's not always us. It's some people are so closed off they can't hear. You know, you talk to people about anything, you know, and some people are so, you know, their ears are plugged. They're not going to listen. It doesn't matter, you know, what you say.
Yeah.
And so it's learning to see what you want. You know, we move toward our expectations, and that's really the foundation of it all. We move toward what we expect to happen. And some people just expect to have a miserable existence. which is really sad.
Yeah.
Or they just say, oh, well, everything bad always happens to me, or, well, this is my normal ammo, you know, all the crap happened, you know, coming at me. And I mean, I hear this so much. And
Here's
I'm
my
like,
sweetie.
oh, hi, how are you?
He's the one that got Kong his own spring.
Awesome. I'm going to do that too. I've hooked up, helped a lot of people hook up to that separate faucet. Man, it's awesome. So I'm glad that was awesome thinking on her part to go ahead and do that. And I hear it's not that hard either. So you drilled your own hole in the counter?
Yeah, it's really not a difficult thing to do at all. And when you get to that point, if you want, let me know. I'll get you some pictures and some things that'll help you to be able to make it happen. But yeah,
Awesome.
you know, if you visualize Kong having his own spring, guess what? He could have his own spring.
There you go. There
Hey,
you go.
you know, listen, I got to share this. This is something I think it's profound. It's being an athlete, you know, you're taught visualization, whether you're shooting, whether you're doing anything. And I've got to tell you something that it was a huge deal in my life. And it was regarded me high jumping in high school. My sophomore year, I took 6th at state and I went 6'4". And I really wanted to get into that top 5 my junior year. And I'd broken my foot. And long story short, we had a big, huge, like, just a huge weather system come through, and we'd all cleared 6'2", except for one guy cleared 6'4", and nobody cleared another height after we started up again. And so I took 4th with 6'2", and it was really, it had an asterisk because of the tsunami that we had for an hour. But my senior year, I had surgery on my foot. I was going out for track. Now, I just went out for track to really complement my other sports, just on an athletic level. We get to the state tournament. I had not cracked 6 foot the whole year because of my foot. And I told myself going into that thing, they take 5 people from each of the 4 divisions, and like there was a ton of them that were just 6 foot. And I just could not accept the fact that I was going to go 6 foot, you know, as my highest. So that whole morning I woke up, and it was weird because it was kind of a perfect storm. I was feeling sick. I was fluish. I had temperature, and I just was in this other place. And I'm like, I'm starting out at 6'2". I hadn't cleared 6'2" all year long. So I just pictured myself flying over it. And people were like coming over and talking to me. I was so zoned in and tuned out from anybody around me because it was my senior year. And I thought, I got to clear higher than 6'2". I want to place in the top 2 or 3 this time, if not win it. And I just avoided everybody for like that whole morning. And it got up to me at 6'2". I cleared it by like 4 inches. And my coach was just beside himself, and he's like, how have you done that? And I'm like, I don't know, but I'm not going to get into it right now. I want to go for 6'4". Long story short is I ended up getting to 6'6" without a miss. The guy that was number 1 in the state all year, he'd actually gone 6 feet 10 inches. He was struggling that day, and I'd kind of seen that. So I was kind of egging him on. I was kind of looking at him, giving him, shaking my head when he'd miss another one. I'm, rough day, are you? You better not sleep on my ass because I'm coming. And he beat me in a dunk contest at Montana State that summer before, and I got robbed. I was totally robbed. So I was like, look, and I owe you from Bozeman too, sucker. And he was a friend of mine. Now, not close friends, granted, but competitive. We're just athletes. We ran into each other at leadership things, this and that. We get to 6'7", and the guy goes, the field judge goes, do you guys want to go up 1 or 2 inches? It's just you two. And I was like, well, let's go up 2 inches. I've never cleared it before, and this guy's done it 3 times already this year. You can handle 2 inches. He was ready to say 6'7". He wanted to go up an inch because he was feeling doubtful. Well, let's just say on 2 of the 3, I butchered him. On my second one, I almost cleared it, but he butchered 2 of them himself, and he been 1 butt cheek away from clicking that bar off the thing, and I ended up winning. because I didn't have any misses up to 6'8", and he'd already had 3. So my whole point being was that I was not going to start. I was picturing myself going over 6'2", and the whole morning, and that culminated into me blowing my mind, and I went 6 inches higher than I'd gone the whole year. And my injury aside, and I had a screw in my foot, and let's just say my hoppability, my springs were not springing that year. Until that year, then I got more focused than I'd ever had before, and I don't know if it was partly because of me feeling sick or whatever, but just I was just in another frame of mind, and I just really got into that visualization based on what I'd done for, shooting jumpers, shooting free throws, throwing strikes, anything that I was ever doing in an athletic capacity. I always tried to see it first. Well, it all came together, and it was one of the most profound, experiences in my life at the time. And it just made a huge difference, and I've carried that with me along the way, just in the mindset capacity. So I don't know. I love visualization. I love the conversation, and that was something that really had a huge impact on me, was being able to see it transform and to be able to have the success that I did that day and actually go 6 inches higher in one day than I'd gone all year. It was a mind blower, but I was really blessed and thankful for it. So I've carried that with me. So I love this conversation. It's that simple. And it's just a matter of really allowing ourselves to believe in what's possible and not continue to fall back on what we're used to not getting, and that's it for me. So this is hugely timed.
That's awesome. Awesome. I mean, it's stories like that that show the power of visualization. And I mean, you follow any people that are highly successful. They saw it before it manifested, because how can we move toward what we can't see? Without vision, is like, Proverbs says, without vision, my people perish. Like, you have to have vision for something more if we're going to move toward it. And so Shawn had that vision for something more, and the body just simply followed what that vision, what that belief was. And it all starts so much like my post yesterday. I mean, what it really was about was stopping those excuses and starting to believe in myself. And starting to love myself too. And that was a huge hurdle, because when we don't love ourselves, it's hard for other people to love us. If we don't love ourselves, it's hard for us to allow good things to come into our lives. If we don't love ourselves, it's hard for us to believe in ourselves. And that was a huge thing for me, was beginning to say, okay, I am a child of God. I am created to do amazing things. I am loved, and I am put on this earth to be loved and to love. And, really what we have in our business is, I feel like it's a ministry. We are here to serve. We are here to change lives. And the more that I can get my values in line, my beliefs in line, then that just helps everything else to be easier. Because if I have this belief about, I'm going to turn into some awful, evil person if I make too much money, or if I become a leader, or all this kind of stuff, then I'm simply going to block myself. And again, that's just an excuse. It's an excuse, again, that holds us back. But when I can begin to say, I want to rise up to be the person that I'm called to be, that I believe that I am capable of so much, that I believe I am capable of changing people's lives, that I believe I'm capable of becoming more and having more and doing more and serving more people, then I begin again to break down some of those excuses that we build up, those walls that we build up. So sometimes it's just coming back to one, loving myself and understanding that I'm doing this because I love others and I want to help others. And for me, this business is so incredible because we get to change lives on so many levels. We get to change them. Drinking the water completely transforms their life. I mean, I know it's transformed my life, my family's life, and transform them if they want on a financial level. But I think the most important thing is you're building people. We get to build people to help them to become more. And that's such an amazing gift. And for me, I went back to school, I started my life coaching business, I'm getting clients in, but I realized I can only have so much impact with just doing that. And I was trading time for money again, where with the water, I can incorporate the coaching in with the water business to really build people so their health is being taken care of through the water, their finances are being taken care of by those incredible referral checks. And then mentally, this is true health. This is what our company teaches is true health, because if you remove any of those, you don't have true success, because money alone doesn't give you true success if you don't have health. Or you could have health, but you got a crappy mindset and you got no money. What is that? That's not a very happy existence either. And so I really feel like the beauty of our company, and I can just really see how everything in my life led me to this point. We don't always see the full picture, and that's okay, because we're not supposed to see the full picture, because if we did, we'd mess things up. So it's just figuring out, again, like visualization, what is it that I want to move toward, and where can I start? What's one step that I can begin to take? A lot of times it is just thinking about our thinking, getting rid of that stinking thinking, those weeds that are in our life, to choke out the bad, to choke out the good, and begin, positive thinking, seeing ourselves in a positive life, loving ourselves, seeing ourselves worthy of having a better life. And that's really foundational. If we're going to change people's lives, if we're going to sow into their lives, it really starts with us. Because if we don't believe in ourselves, they're not going to believe in us, and they're not going to believe that it's possible either. But I've had so many people say, I can't believe the transformation that I've seen in your life. And that gives me hope that I can transform my own life. So, we have a lot greater impact than what we realize. And, up here is really important.
Boy, isn't that the truth, Coach? That's one of the things that's so crazy to me about this company. The motto of this company is change your water, change your life. It's not change your water, change your house, change your water, change your job, change your water, change your clothes. It's literally change your water, change your life. And people see that slogan, and I think a lot of people just kind of scoff at it because they don't realize what it is that really means and what it really does. But I'm here as living, breathing proof that changing your water changes your life, because not only does it change your health, but because of this incredible family of people that, I refer to as the Kong family, but it's really the Kong and Water family. And the people that I've met, the things that I've learned, because of people like you, Coach, that have this mindset, and they have this thought process, and they have this deep desire to help other people get this thought process. Because we talk about this all the time. You can think positively or you can think negatively. It's your choice. I'm always saying choices abound, because they do. And whatever it is that happens in your life, it's your choice. And, I had a good friend that they've been married for 25 years. I know both husband and wife very well, and they're going through a horrible divorce. And the husband's side of it, he called me up and said all this stuff. And I told him, brother, you need to look in the mirror. That's where the problem lies. And he got so pissed off, he ended up hanging up on me and ended up unfriending me on Facebook. I told him he needed to look in the mirror.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of thing I've learned from people like Thomas right here that's just jumped in on the show with us.
Hey, Thomas.
His thought processes helped me change my thought processes, which in turn makes it so I can turn around and help other people change their thought processes. And that's what I love so much about having people like you come on this show with with your thought processes, because the only way that people can learn about this stuff is if they know about it. You know, what's the old thing? We don't know what we don't know.
Mm.
And, you know, we're here to help people know. And it doesn't have anything to do with money, kids. It has to do with helping people. Because if you help people, you get the money and the rewards and the riches and whatever. That's all going to come from helping other people. That's something that I've learned because of my relationship with the Kangen Water family and the people that are just the incredible people, one after another, after another, after another. 7 days a week of awesome sauce. You know, it's hard not to have a positive attitude, even in spite of the things that go on in our lives on a daily basis, you know, because we all have our struggles. Life is not always just peaches and cream, but if you think of peaches and cream all the time, then guess what? That's what you're going to get. You're going to get peaches and cream no matter what happens, no matter whether you're getting raisins. And so, you know, I love being able to have your knowledge and be able to share with people this platform that you have, this 30-day boot camp thing that they can get a hold of and utilize. And that's why I bought it, is because I wanted something that is, you know, something tangible that I can write in, that I can get ideas from. Because for me, I've got such a great life, what I have going on in my life. I have an incredibly beautiful wife who loves me amazingly enough. Go figure, why the heck, you know? But I just have so little to complain about. But even though sometimes we're in these positions where we really don't have anything to complain about, sometimes we still find ways and things to complain about. And it's, you know, it's crazy how that ends up happening. Dang it, I got a phone call coming in and it won't let me hang up on it. Anyway, sorry about that. But yeah, I'm curious whether anybody here in the show here, whether it's Thomas or Sean or Paul or Rachel or Dan or Carola, any of you guys, you have anything that you'd like to ask the coach? You have anything that you could use a little bit of brain help with, that maybe she can give you a little tidbit of info?
Sure. You know, you've got your books that you have written out and your PDFs and things like that. Was it hard to find a publisher, or, you know, what way was you able to go about getting your books to where they were published, and then that way you able to offer those out as well?
So that's a great question. So I actually went through CreateSpace. So I self-published. I have a friend, he's actually a movie producer out in Hollywood, and he had some rough experiences with his publisher, not going well. And he said, absolutely self-publish. And honestly, it's so easy to self-publish. My goal really was for this to be a program for me to use with my clients. And I needed it in book form. And so I didn't really know, you know, you don't know that what the future is going to hold, and that I was going to end up having a bigger audience for the book to be able to go toward. So, you know, it's available on Amazon, and it's really simple. And, you know, Amazon takes their, you know, cut or whatnot. When you self-publish, it doesn't get into bookstores, but honestly, people don't go to bookstores anymore. Where do we buy our stuff? We buy it online. So it's really easy these days. I just recommend, like, if you do a book, to definitely get an editor, you know, have it look professional and everything. But I mean, I don't think we've ever lived in such an amazing time to get your voice out there. And I mean, even, you know, if you wanted to create something for your team or something, I mean, right there, I mean, it's all published right there for you. I mean, it's really an amazing opportunity.
Does any of your stuff on PDF for download and things like that as well?
So on through Amazon, you can do the book in a physical book, so they print it on demand for you, so you don't have a warehouse of books or anything, or they can buy the ebook version as well.
Perfect.
So I'm curious of whether I'm understanding what you're saying, Sharon. So you have, like this book that you did, you published this through Amazon?
Yes, through Create Space. I mean, there's a lot of self-publishing companies out there, and then you just connect it into Amazon, and Amazon prints them, sells them, and pays you for them. It's really a brilliant system. And you know, the thing with books is, you know, people think, oh, I'm going to become a published author, I'm going to become a millionaire, a best-selling author, and that type of thing. And that, you know, books more and more are just really tools for people to get to know you better. And because I try to be realistic with people, you know, I mean, I'll get, you know, it is creating passive income, but unless you're some big name, like, you know, realistically, not that it can't, you know, happen or whatnot, but there are only a few best-selling authors that are really making huge money off of books. But books are a really fantastic tool to just to get your voice out there, to use it as a door for people to get to know you a little bit better, or as something like even like with the water, we do like a free water newsletter. And so, you know, just giving people something of value to kind of get into the door to talk with them, a book or a PDF or some sort of smaller little thing can be a really powerful tool to open doors for you.
So I've got another question.
Okay.
In regards to the publishing of the book.
Sure.
A lot of times I would imagine there's a lot of people out there who they probably have a great book, a great subject that they'd love to get out there, but they think, oh, I could never do that because it's too expensive, or something like that. I would imagine that back in the day, publishing a book was probably pretty expensive. But I'm curious to know what kind of expense, do you mind divulging what kind of expense it took out of your pocket to be able to make it happen? Or
not a whole lot, honestly. I mean, I paid somebody to do my cover. I had my English professor help me edit it. I had my mom go through it. I had people over and over and over again go through it and say, give me your honest feedback. What was confusing? What did you like best? What was tripping you up? But these days we have access so easily to things, a program, a great program, Fiverr.com. Maybe it's Fiverr. I don't know. Fiverr.com. You can get them to help with, so I hired a girl out of, I don't know, Ukraine or something like that. She helped me with the book cover. I mean, you know, there's a lot of different options to do things on a budget. There's a lot of great programs out there that will help to give you a structure for a book. I mean, my structure was a little bit different because it is a literal 30-day program. For different people's books, you're going to have like your own story, then there's the conflict, then there's, you know, there's certain things that you may want to follow if you're telling like your own life story and overcoming obstacles and this type of thing. There's going to be a little different format. And I do encourage people, like, get an inexpensive course that's going to teach you how to lay it out so that it's a good quality book. I mean, I just had a friend the other day who lives down the street from me who got an idea for a book, and it's kind of a kid's book, but it's not a kid's book, and it's just an amazing little story. And one of her friends said, why don't you submit this to a publisher, a Christian publisher? And they love the book. But for me, I didn't want to give up my rights to the book to a publisher. I want full control because it's my program. And I teach it to groups of people as well. So for me, it worked better to self-publish. But for her, it works better for her than to go with a publisher. And just, I think, I don't know how many she submitted it to, but it all came together and they loved the book, and it was very creative, and she draws and she did a lot of her own artwork. But I mean, really, for next to nothing, you can create your own book. And I love for people to share their story because it's our own stories that transform people's lives. And as you go through the book, you will see my own story of the hell that we went through. But, you know, I wouldn't trade any of it because it made me who I am today. It made my husband who he is today. And, you know, you're grateful for it. And it's the story, it's the transformation that's what people want. That's what inspires people. You know, it's kind of like Lightning McQueen, the first movie. You know, here he is, he's trained, he's right there, he's about to win the race because he came in as like this cocky little car, and he stops because he sees his friend get injured and wrecked. He gives up the piston cup. Why? Because of the transformation that happened in him. Why do you fall in love with him? Why does that movie impact you? It's because of the transformation. And so, you know, books, like, you know, I encourage people, if they do a book, let it be about the transformation in you, like or transformation in the character, or that's so impactful. But I could go all day about this. I don't know where you want to run with this.
The biggest thing that, you know, you was asking about price wise, when she did the book, she wasn't worried about the price because it's all part of business and it's going to be a write-off. When we do our videos or get our editors and we get copywriters to help us out and do stuff, that cost, it's all going to be a write-off anyway, because she's getting a professional to critique it and then get it to like she wants it. And then that way it's out there. And so she had the people and the professor look over it and other ones to critique it so she could make it just right to where she was comfortable with it. But the thought process of money, of how much it's costing, never really comes up in any of our ideas when you're moving yourself as an entrepreneur. It's all business. It's all a write-off. You know, so we're working on individual PDFs right now, so people can have a PDF download to where they can actually go in and see how the process works for different things that we're working with. Same aspect with her book. So what are your ideas? Be creative. Think outside the box. This is your business. You want it on a billboard, put it on a billboard. You want a newspaper ad, do a newspaper ad. It doesn't matter. All she's doing is getting eyes on her offer. And she does a good damn job at it.
Oh, thank you. I'm darn trying.
Yeah, she does an incredible job. I was magnetized to you, Coach, right out of the chute. Because, you know, when you're putting out awesome value, that's what happens. People gravitate towards you. And yeah, it's an incredible blessing to be able to have someone like you come on this show once a month and share some golden nuggets with the family, things that we can all share out. Because, you know, like you just mentioned about stories, that's what this is all about. This is something that my life was changed by a story. And that's why I'm so adamant about sharing stories. I want to get people's stories out there so that other people can be inspired by them, because we just never know whose story's going to wake who up. I sat and listened to or watched postings about Kangen water for at least 6 months and just went, stupid. Water's water. It's just stupid stuff. I can't believe he keeps posting this stuff. But then that one day, that story came across that changed the course of my life. It opened up my brain cell. I only have one brain cell. You know, all you guys, you have billions of them. I only got one. And every now and again, something comes along that opens it up, and it sucks in a lot of great stuff. But you know, I love to joke about that. But that's kind of my thing. I love to joke about everything. I love to have fun with everything, especially when things go wrong. That's when I really love to blame them damn Anasazi and you know, move on with having some fun through it and doing what my buddy Jojo taught me. There are no problems, there are only solutions. And if you've got the problem mindset, then you're going to have the problem solution. You know, if you've got the solution mindset, then you're going to have the solutions. And so that's what the way I really learned to roll, and being part of the Kong family has really kind of exploded that mindset from where it used to be, oh yeah, there's a solution, but only if I'm in the right mood or something like that. only if I can't find an excuse that works good enough with it. Where now it's like, no, there's a solution no matter what. We're going to find the solution. We're going to work the solution. We're going to work around it. We're going to find a way to do what we want to do. And that's it. We're not going to, I can't get mad about things anymore, because if I do, I see Thomas's face, you know. So I hear his voice, and I can't get mad about things too much anymore. And if I do get mad, it's for a very tiny little piece of time, and then it immediately goes to solution. And I just love having you come here and give your time, because I know you're super busy, but you have so much value to give to the show. You, on the live side over here on Facebook, the loves have just been flying across the screen the whole time we've been here. The love buttons have just been flying across the screen. So that's awesome. That makes me feel great, and I am sure that makes you feel great as well, because we've got something really super special going on here, and we are indeed going to change the world. And I've asked everybody on the live side if they have any questions for you, and at this point I don't see any questions coming up. And so before we head out of here, I would like to ask everybody that's in the room right now if anybody has any questions or comments for Coach.
The question that he brought up a minute ago, when people say water is water, what is your best response that you give back to people to break that cycle, to let them know that water is not just water?
Well, I think it goes back to the stories again. I mean, normal water doesn't transform people's lives. And I know we have to be careful about, you know, how we present things, but you know, it's when you believe with all that you are, the power of this water and how it's transformed your own life and those you know and those you told about, that conviction, what people say to me, I hear this over and over again, your belief in this water blows me away. They're like, we can see your belief in this water. And so when you're 100% sold, because you've seen the transformations health-wise, you've seen the transformations financial-wise, people, that conviction is conveyed to people. Because again, it's up here. That belief, that conviction is then impressed on other people. And they see she's not just saying this to say this, but this is a belief and this is a conviction. And that's really powerful. And, you know, we all have, like, going back to, you know, JJ, like, we all have our own stories. And like what JJ is saying is, you know, he heard all this other stuff, but it was that one story that got him. And it's like my story, like even today, that might not impact somebody, but maybe what Sean shared, that's what related to somebody. And they could see it and they got it. So we all have our unique stories, and we're all going to draw people to us who are going to relate to our own stories. That's why we need all of us. We're a global family. Like, we each contribute in our own way, and we're each vital and we're each important, because we're going to reach different people. You know, different people are going to come to me than are going to come to, you know, JJ or Sean or whatever. And that's how it's supposed to work. But it's part of our story. And I think it's just honestly that full out conviction and belief. And people know if you believe it or not. And I'm telling you, when you believe, when you're 100% soul, people will respond to you differently.
Sharon, can I jump in here real quick, JJ?
Yes, please.
Absolutely.
I want to just pass on something was taught to me, or I read it, I think Eric Worre, but what I use in that is the feel, felt, found. So
yes, that's good.
So Sharon, I understand exactly how you feel. I felt the exact same way, but here's what I found. And I think when you see what I show you, rather than me telling you about it, you're going to see something significantly different between one and the rest. And people are visual by nature. And so what I found is it's very, very difficult to talk to people about water. But what happens is if we have the opportunity to show once we show, that's where the light went off. So I was spoke to about Kangen water for 14 months, but the guy talked to me about water. He never sent me anything. Finally, to get him off my back, I said, fine, I'll go see the thing. When those colors dropped, I couldn't deny it. The meter, I couldn't deny it. So I always tell people, but here's the thing with the feel, felt, found. Validate what they're saying. Honor their truth, right? They don't know what they didn't know. I didn't know what I didn't know. So when you say, I know exactly how you feel, I felt the same way. But here's what I found. And maybe you can use that to get the opportunity to show them something, whether it's in person or a video, because we're visual by nature, humans are. And when we see something that doesn't make sense, that's what can break down that cognitive dissonance, because we all believe we know what we know. We all think we're smarter than we are. Let's just be honest. So the thing is I've had 100 people go say the same thing to me, but you know what? I know exactly how you feel, JJ. I felt the same way. Here's what I found. And when you validate their feelings and show them something they've never seen, you might be able to have a breakthrough. Because what I've found with the water is, you know, you can give somebody a glass of water, they'll drink it, or you can show them a video and maybe they look at it, but it's the connection of the two. And when we marriage those two, that's when we have real success. So you have to do whatever you can to get them to take that initial first step. And what I've found is that feel, felt, found works very, very well, because they feel like you're listening to them, you're validating what they're saying. And you know what? And then the other thing that I top it on after that is, you know what? And if you see what I saw and it doesn't resonate with you, terrific. We've got nothing to talk about. But it's the rest of your life. Wouldn't you like to at least know what you're saying no to?
That's good. Yeah, that's powerful. My husband, he's been in sales for years, and he always says the same thing, the feel, felt, found. Yeah. And it's just, yeah, in that moment, thinking, because that sales is emotional. It's emotional connection. And so relating to people, I mean, just like what he's saying, and then the visualization, because the subconscious mind then can't deny what you saw. So you've made the emotional connection through the feel, felt, found. And then you made the subconscious connection. Well, the subconscious mind is an emotional brain, and it's a visual brain. So you're really not selling to people. People don't buy on a conscious level. They buy on an emotional level.
For sure.
So when you're targeting, and I think I appreciate you, Dan, bringing that up, because I think this is especially powerful for targeting the subconscious mind with people. Exactly what he said. Thank you,
absolutely. Dan. Hey, and you guys, I'm going to run to the office, but JJ, so we're on for 9:45. It definitely is not all about the money, but I am going to be showing the fastest way to attain higher ranks in your business with less sales, and just kind of show somebody who's, you know, how to advance their business a lot faster, and for the 3-5 year plan of really, really progressive growth and owning your franchise centers and being able to talk about placement and where to put people to maximize your long-term value in Enagic. So if anybody wants to see that tomorrow, I think we're on for what, 9:45 Pacific, JJ?
Yep, 9:45 Pacific time.
Okay, I'm running to the Seattle office. I got to take a shower. You guys have a great day.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it, buddy.
Bye, thank you.
So yeah, kids, you know, just so blessed to be able to do what we do every day. We are in the life-changing business. We are changing lives, and at the same time, we're going to change the world by changing lives. And so that's pretty neat to be able to be part of it. But one last thing before we head out of here, I want to plug the coach's book one more time. Okay, here it is. And you can get it on Amazon. That's what I did. I went to Amazon. I looked it up. And actually, Coach sent me a link to it. And we'll have to make sure to get that into the comments so that people can get the book. But anybody that wants to get her book, you can hook up with her on Facebook. If you send her a friend request on Facebook, make sure that you tell her why. Tell her that you're looking for her book. Tell her that you saw her on the Con Family. Do her that common courtesy of letting her know why you're sending her a friend request. Don't just send her a friend request. And Coach, is there anything else that you'd like to add here at the end about your book, how people can get it, or anything else that can help people with this incredible struggle that we are all facing, this 6 inches between our ears? It's the most it's the biggest obstacle everybody in the world faces. And so anything we can do to help people overcome this obstacle right here, that's a huge part of what we're trying to do. And so do you have any last comments that you'd like?
I think it's just a final comment is just remembering again, like, we don't live in a bubble. We live in a real world, you know, and this is something that we have to plug into daily. Like what Thomas is doing is so powerful, because every day we need that positivity. We need to get our mindset at that higher level. We need to become more solution focused. Life coaching came out of solution focused therapy. It was just moving toward what is the solution? What is the goal? Where do I want to move my life toward? And remembering that, you know, we're going to have days we get knocked down. Like, this is real life, but that's okay. You know, we pick ourselves up, and it's just wonderful that there's tools like what you guys are doing with this show, what Thomas is doing, what Dan is doing, that there's so much accessible for us here in the Congdon family to have access to keep ourselves plugged into. I mean, I'm in the car, I'm playing. I mean, there's days I don't want to even push the button. I don't even feel motivated to push play, but I know I better push play, and I got to work on this before I go out and start my day. But it makes such a difference. And, you know, it's a daily thing that we need to do. Just like daily we eat, daily we drink, we take our vitamins every day. You know, the same thing. We got to put positive in, because we're bombarded on every side with so much negativity. You got to understand, 99% of the population is very negatively focused. You turn on the news. I don't watch the news. Like, I don't turn any of that on because it's so negatively focused. And, you know, if I have negative people that I'm around that, you know, again, we can't live in a bubble, but we can put up some boundaries. You know, we can protect ourselves in some ways, but it's, if we can get more good into us than the other stuff that's trying to come in, then that's how we begin to move forward too. So I just appreciate all that you guys are doing. I think it's awesome. And Thomas, I need to be getting on your call more often.
Yeah, absolutely. Being in the morning motivation is a great thing. It's something that everybody should strive to be on. And if you can't be on, hopefully you can get it enough that you can be thinking it. You know, because sometimes I'm on, sometimes I'm not, but the thought process is always there. And I want to thank you, Thomas, for everything you've done in that regard, buddy. You've helped transform my life in a huge way. And I'm always telling people about it and encouraging them to be involved with it. And so, yeah, it's all about that. It all kind of blends right in with the whole subject of this show today, which was mindset. You know, our mind, we need to train our brain. Train your brain, kids. Hey, how about that idea? What a great concept. You know, it's like the concept of killing cancer, not people. Ha, what a concept. Ha, who'd have thunk, you know? Luckily for us, we've got incredible members of the Kong family that are teaching us these important lessons, these important subjects, these important concepts that we can utilize, because the truth of the matter is, kids, is that you can do it. If you believe you can do it, you can do it. If you believe you can't do it, you can't do it. It's all about what you believe. And that's one of the huge reasons why we just love having Coach Minard, because she does a great job of helping to solidify these thought processes and ideas so that we can get people to start utilizing the most powerful thing they have. This is the most powerful thing that you have, kids, right here, right in between these little knucklehead that you got sitting there on your shoulders. And we are the Kong family. We have this really simple goal. We just want to change the world. People might think that's kind of crazy, but the truth is it's happening every single day. If you're part of the Kong family and you're looking at the things that are getting posted on a daily basis all over the web, you see it, that it's happening. It's real. It's tangible. We can prove it. And it just is what it is. And we are that family. We are changing the world. And but Sean, by the way, how is it that we're doing that once again?
1 glass of hydrogen-rich, oxygen-saturated, supremely hydrating, 9.5 at a time. Got Kongan, baby? I do. Come hang with me.
Amen, brother. And one lightning bolt in a box, one incredible guest, one amazing family member at a time. We are changing the world. And so, Coach, once again, thank you so much for starting the month of July off with a bang. We have Coach Minard on the first Monday of every month because we want to fire off every month with a bang from the Khan family, baby, that can shoot this
Big
off.
things come in small. Big things come in small packages.
Aw.
I'm telling you, she might be 5'2" in stature, but she's a giant in her presentation, in her overall aura.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Amen. Yeah, she's little, but she's big.
She's big.
All right, kids. Love you so much. Thanks again for coming in today. Thanks for being here. And look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow, Dan Edlin's coming in with some awesome business training. It's going to be awesome. So spread the word and jump on in. But go out there today. Make it a great day. Change the world, starting with your own. And, of course, do not forget your hugs, kids. Do not forget your hugs and your HooDeeHoos. Love you guys so much. Make it an awesome day. And we'll see you back for some more fun tomorrow. Thanks again, Coach. Make it a great
Thank you.
God bless.
HooDeeHoooo indeed. Rock and roll. Love you, brother. Nice work.
Oh, yes.